As with any society, the Naga society also has its own tradition of culture and arts. However, the absence of a written manuscript has in some way hampered the process of documenting and preserving our traditions, art, and culture. All traditional knowledges has been passed down orally from generation to generation and in practice. The people of Nagaland, as we are aware, comprise of 18 tribes. While there are some levels of established tribal lineages between some of the tribes, distinctions do exist that differentiates one tribe from another. And the distinctions comes mostly from the attire, motifs, ornaments that each tribe adorns. This apart from the different language that we speak. This differentiation in the attires, motifs, and ornaments are intrinsically linked to the identity of each tribe. In today's globalized world, preserving this tradition and identity comes with challenges. Efforts to conserve and interpret artifacts must keep pace with the pressure of modernization. Instances of cultural appropriation and the unethical use of traditional Naga designs in fashion shows and on e-commerce platforms has sometimes discredited their artistic value and profound symbolic meanings. Emphasizing on the need to safeguard Naga's cultural heritage, the Honorable Chief Minister of the State advocated that a detailed study to document the traditional attires, motifs, and ornaments be taken up and pursued for legal instruments such as intellectual property rights and geographical indications that would help protect and preserve this traditional heritage of the Nagas of Nagaland. The goal being not to prohibit others from engaging with such traditional items, but to ensure their proper use and to protect the shared benefits for all.
This program would not have been as it is today if it were not under your mentorship and if it were not in this space. You know, during my NGO days, I've also conducted many workshops, but environment is so important. She's already set a benchmark for all of you here, and so you have experts who are coming and hand-holding you and teaching you, but unless there's a certain benchmark that you see every day, then it just becomes a mediocre. But she's there, right there. Her products are right there, and it has really, I believe it has really pushed you all, motivated you all to, make these fine products. I'm like super impressed. If you give me an opportunity, I want to go through all over again and speak to the artisans all over again. So that is one thing. So thank you so much, Jasmina, for the things that you do for our state and for placing our people, our state in the world map. I want to give my special thanks to the Deputy Consul General, Madam Andrea Jeske, Sushmita, and the entire team of the consulate, German consulate in Kolkata, and the German government. Last year we had the Hornbill Festival, and the German government was our country partner. So we wonder, why do government have so many country partners? It's just all pomp and no show, But this is also an offshoot of the partnership that we built since last year. Before that as well, but when we have this partnership, we also sign an MOU that we will collaborate together, we will strengthen each other, the relationship between Germany and also India. And as an offshoot, the Consul General the consulate came out with this program headed by Sushmita there. And in fact, early this year, I was also nominated to go to Germany to be part of the Women Leadership Program, exchange program with the women leaders out there. So this is the power of collaboration. This is the power of partnership between two countries. Here in this case, between a country, a very powerful country, and the state of Nagaland. So I want to really thank the consulate for this initiative. And this would not have been possible. I want to do my thank yous, but this is important. It's just not a thank you thing, but this is, I want to really show my appreciation, not only on my behalf, but on behalf of the government of Nagaland as well. And if you don't have good partners, serious partners, whatever program you fund still becomes just another program. But looking at your presentation, the seriousness, the intensity of this program that Ananya and Madhura and the entire team has done for us, we are really, really grateful to you. And switching off to my Nagamese, Sorombi ase, ami khan iman ta khan pura ekdom ami khan Nagaland naga story ami khan ki koi dia to I am sure half of us mukhan bhi itu khan bhi na jani ase bahar la manu khani ami khan laga rich culture khan inika dikhai dia to itu bhi Sorombi lagi ase hole bhi ami khan mukh kholi ke na sai ase itu bhi ase inika koi ke na but itu bhi ami khan kan ekta inspiration ase ami khan itia bahar la manu pura hi ke na hikai di ke na ami khan nijor bhi because ami khan to paribo ami khan hi na pari ke na किताबो तो लेजी भी हो जाए किताबो तो आलसी भी लगी जाए किताबो तो ना पारिबो इनका भी भाभी जाए होली भी अजी तखन पाई तो शेयरिंग करा भी आमी खान करने एक इंस्पिरेशन होई के ना निजोर भी पीछे से आमी खान नागालैंड ते निजोर भी हिकी के ना निजोर पर इतु भी आगे ले जाबो कोई के ना इतु भी एनकरेज कोई दिया से and of course to our talented resource persons, thank you so much. They've come all the way from your country. I hope you're enjoying your stay here. This is just the beginning of our collaboration. We assure you, in whatever way we can support you, we will continue, and this is the beginning of a new friendship between your country and our state. Thank you so much, Mr. Raj, and everyone, all the resource persons, our guests from outside. Thank you very much for being part of this very, very important, I should say, I don't want to say beginning, but in a way it's a new chapter for us as well. So thank you so much for this hand-holding and the support that you have shown to us and have been giving us. We have heard already from Contact Base. They've done a presentation. We have heard from the Managing Director of NHHTC, who is also the Additional Director of Department of Industries and Commerce. In a year or so, he'll be the next Director of the department. A very proactive, progressive, one of the most efficient officers in the state of Nagaland. He's already talked a bit about Nagaland to all of you. I've scribbled my little note in between. I'll be just sharing whatever comes to my thought as well. As we know and we have heard, Nagaland is a land of rich cultural diversity and heritage, and our creative potential lies not only in the beauty of its landscapes, but more significantly in our people, in our stories, and the traditional skills that have been passed down through generations. our indigenous knowledge systems, particularly in areas such as art, craft, and weaving, offer fertile ground for innovation. From intricate basketry to fiber arts, our state's heritage embodies the depth and resilience of the Naga spirit. Nagaland has recently become a focal point for initiatives that bring together artisans, designers, and cultural practitioners, creating a promising foundation for a creative economy. Through collaboration with esteemed figures like Swarab Datta and Hege Asdal, our local artisans are going to embrace new ideas while preserving authenticity, especially in the basketry, woodwork, and natural fibers. This partnership showcases how traditional crafts can be reimagined for contemporary markets while keeping our cultural roots intact. Nagaland is home to vibrant cultural diversity, as mentioned, and we are witnessing innovative projects supported by collaborations with organizations like Naga Feather, Tukuri, and Railway Nagaland, amongst others. These efforts are designed to help our artisans transform traditional skills into sustainable modern products that appeal to the global market. And this, like I mentioned earlier, Heirloom Naga is a fantastic role model example of perseverance. We know her, we have heard about Jasmina, but this is not a result of few years' work. It's more than 30 years. Excuse me. It's hard work of 30 years or more than 30 years. We need more Jasminas. We need more Jasminas. And we are at a time and a moment where we can take the best out of her. She's ready to mentor all of you, and we really appeal to you that you'll continue to help our young people and you'll be able to leave that legacy behind. We have so much potential, which we have heard and which we know, but we also have many challenges. Many artisans struggle with limited market access, insufficient training, and a lack of financial resources to scale their business. Now, as part of the government, we all know a year and a half back, I was on the other side of the fence, and now coming this side, I'm trying to also understand how can government help our entrepreneurs and our artisans. And about 6 months after I took over, I invited a group of practitioners from the handicraft and handloom sector to have a consultation with them. And few of them are here today. So after the meeting got over, the feedback was, we were expecting to hear other things from her, but all she was talking was about the scheme in the ministry and the government. Unfortunately, that's the reality. I also have been, like I mentioned, on the other side. So I know what our challenges are. I know what the challenges of artisans and entrepreneurs are. And after coming here, I want to make sure that I'm addressing those problems. But once you're on the government side, government also has its own challenges. Government of Nagaland don't have our own resources. And that's another story for another time. We are very dependent on the central government for funds. For these projects, for the handicraft and the handloom sector, it's the Ministry of Textiles that take care of it. We also have to put in our proposals to them. And there are definitely, but there are definitely policy flaws, because many a times these policies and guidelines set by the central government are uniform for the entire country. And for the northeastern states and states like Nagaland, we really don't fit into that. And so that is also one of the struggle that we have to make sure that we are availing and making sure that it also helps our young people, our artisans and our entrepreneurs here in Nagaland. And those are the policy matters which we also have been highlighting to the government at the center, that there should be certain certain amendment, especially to make sure that the people in the Northeast are not missing out. Now, we have no option at this point of time. I want to really request that, yes, creative people in general don't want to fit into the box. Unfortunately, Government of India and the government schemes are very boxy. And that is when the issue starts. But nevertheless, I want to again request you all, the Department of Industries and Commerce, we don't have funds. Though we know it's the best idea, though we know it's going to work, we don't have the resources to also, fund your projects. But please, in whatever way, I want all of you, because all of you are doers. I know if you get a little fund from somewhere, if you are doing 10, in 10x, 100x, you'll be able to scale it up. And I'm always in pain because I know that I'm not being able to do enough. There's also a lot of expectation, considering that I have been on the other side. So people think that I'll understand more, I'll be more sensitive to you, I'll understand your problems. I understand your problems. I know your problems. It's just that I'm stuck in the box myself. So I want you to please, if any one of you think I have not been doing enough, I ask you to please understand my problem. But yes, it's just been a year and a half only since I've taken over this department. I will try my best. Like I mentioned, the next director is also here with us. So in whatever way, we will also explore and see that we are making sure that our creative entrepreneurs and artisans are taken care of. Our vision is very clear. By promoting heritage-based entrepreneurship, we can generate sustainable economic growth and offer viable livelihood to our local artisans. This is not just about preserving tradition, it is about empowering our communities. Developing infrastructure for cultural tourism, creating global platforms for our crafts, and investing in artisan training will empower our creative industry to compete to the larger stage and find new ways to bring Naga craftsmanship to a global audience. As we look to the future, I urge all stakeholders, government agencies, private sector partners, NGOs, and our local communities to come together in this mission. Our goal is to transform Nagaland's rich heritage into a thriving economic engine, where traditional knowledge and modern innovation coexist to benefit our society. Through this creative economy, we can preserve our identity, uplift our people, and present Nagaland to the world in a way that is both authentic and forward-looking. I am told that this project is only for a year, which will end in March 2025. But I would like to request the Deputy Consul General that this is a fantastic initiative. I think we should continue to collaborate, and in whatever way, the state government will also come in a more aggressive manner to support this initiative. Thank you all for your dedication to this vision. Let us continue working together to make Nagaland's creative economy a beacon of culture, sustainability, and progress. Thank you all. God bless.
I've been weaving baskets for about 15 years, and 4 years ago I received a scholarship from the Norwegian Craft Institute, and this is really what brought me here, because I was also lucky to meet Madura in Paris in a UNESCO meeting. But my passion is really about bringing the traditions forward, because in Norway the basketry traditions are almost gone. There's this many craft people left that knows about the materials and the traditions. So it's very urgent to bring this on. This is where I live, in the little red circle on the west coast of Norway. So, in the fjords. This is Hardangerfjord, salt water. So it's a beautiful area of Norway. Next one. My scholarship project was really focusing on the wicker baskets that are made in split material, and to obtain an overview of the materials and techniques that traditionally are used in Norway. This work has not been collected in any way before, so it was really urgent to try to collect this knowledge, because there's no overview of the different baskets. There's baskets in all museums and everywhere, but no one really knows what they are made of and how they were made. So this is how my work started. There is, maybe it also goes for this country, but in Norway it's a very division between the basketry as a profession and the handcrafts in the villages. So it's all basket making, but the profession has contained mostly of imported materials and imported techniques, while the handcrafts in the villages is based on the materials surrounding you, and the techniques based on, as Madura also was telling about, the baskets have names for what they were used for, and there's a lot of specific baskets for specific uses. So this is part of the rural handicraft. This is birch roots, which is one of the materials that I brought to test here. So I will just show a little bit of the different baskets, just to get an image, maybe especially to crafts people that I've been working with, because it's difficult to explain how the materials are used. It's good to see some pictures. So naturally, most of the baskets in Norway are done with split material. We see that here also, but when you harvest from the wild, it's usually necessary to process the material before you can weave with it, because two sticks are not the same, and you need to process the material, and that's 2/3 of the work actually when harvesting materials. So next one. Yes, this is about the splitting. So here you see a little bit of the different materials that I harvest. The middle picture is the birch roots, which you have all been trying out. There are some small pieces of birch root over there, so you can touch and see how it looks. And the left picture is the linden bust, also the upper right picture. And linden bust is also one of the materials that I brought. It's the inner bark from a tree which I harvest. So there are some main techniques, and I think there are a lot of similarities with the basketry here in Nagaland and all over the world, because there's universal techniques, and we can all recognize different ways of weaving. I think in general, maybe the Norwegian basketry looks a bit rougher often than I think what I've seen here in the gallery. It's such fine work, so it's another expression, I think, in this part of the world. Some of the traditional baskets with the soft material. This is the linden bust, and it's also some pine work in the middle. And there's some rush. These shoes are made from soft rush. A little bit more pictures with the birch roots. traditional and some newer jewelry, just to give an impression of the different things. Next one is also birch roots. And this technique is one of the techniques that we were working with the artisans here. Other than the jewelry, we were working with the frame baskets, which you can see over here. It's really also a universal basket, but maybe not so much used in this way traditionally in this area. Different baskets for carrying. We've seen a lot of that in the gallery here, but these are our versions of the carrying baskets. A bit more rougher, I think. Even more carrying baskets, the juniper and the birch roots, and there are really a great diversity of materials and shapes, which we also see here. Yes, another type of more wooden basket, which is, I think, maybe a little bit unique to the Nordic countries. This is a special frame that is built with 4 sticks and put together in a very specific way. So, and I haven't seen this exact way of making a basket so many other places, but maybe it's also here, I don't know. You can tell me if you recognize it. So basket making is a universal skill, and it's such a pleasure to meet different cultures and to exchange, because we always find similarities, even if the materials are different. And basket making has been with us for a long, long time. The oldest basket, the whole basket which is found, is 10,500 years old. It's found in Israel, and baskets are much older than that, I'm sure, but this is one piece which is found. It's quite unique that it has been preserved in one piece like that. And it gives a perspective that basket making has always been with us. So the experience I had here in Naga, in this fantastic place, it's been such a pleasure to meet the different basket makers and craftspeople. And meeting craftspeople in this way, having time to actually work together, it gives such a good opportunity also to exchange culturally, and it gives a calmness and a very nice way to connect, because when your hands are doing something, it's so much easier to connect with people and to really learn about our culture. So I really find this a very good way of exchanging culture also by doing things together. It's a good way. And how these women making the jewelry collaborated and work as a team is amazing to see, and the creativity that comes out from this. So I'm really amazed by this meeting with a new culture, and just to see the richness of the different techniques and the different creative garments, both traditional and the new ones. It's really quite inspiring. I think maybe the situation in Norway is quite different, but I think maybe we are more looking at the traditional things in other ways, and we are not honoring our tradition as good as you are doing here. So I really learned a lot in this way. So a little bit about how I live as a basketball player. Teaching is really one of my main things, because there are so few people having the skills, and without knowing anything about a product, it's very difficult to sell a product. And I think maybe you have an advantage here, because there's still a lot of people understanding the work behind the weaving and the basket making. In Norway, there's almost no one who has this understanding. So I really have to teach people that this is a basket that is actually made from a tree that grew over there. And I have to really explain it to people. And maybe you have a little bit of an advantage in this. But explaining it to the world is a challenge. So as I say, selling baskets is so much easier when people actually know what is there. And I think we as humans really thrive when we can have beautiful and useful and durable products around us, and that we can make them. So I think this knowledge is so important to understand the value of it. So to bringing it forward. And I think from a Norwegian perspective, I think we're quite lucky here, because we have so many people with this knowledge still. And if we can let people understand how valuable this knowledge is, I think it's very important. So I ask if people are willing to pay for baskets and to buy baskets. I don't have an answer, but some people are, I'm sure. Or maybe we will discuss this more afterwards. And one thing that I always try to mention in all situations is that there are no machines making baskets, and for Norwegian people that is quite an eye-opener. Often people are amazed that every basket that we find, we have IKEA and we have all these chains with really cheap products, but when I say that there are hands that have been touching these products, it's an eye-opener for most people. And I think we should tell that story with pride. So thank you so much for having me here, and thank you so much.